We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
You want a sports degree that is beyond the game? A degree that immerses you from day one and launches you into the business side of sports. With a sports management major from IUPUI's School of Health and Human Sciences, you'll have insider access to sports professionals and will learn from faculty with years of teaching and industry experience. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to launch your sport industry career.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I'd like to order a hamburger, fries, salt, maybe a large vanilla shake.
This is a trophy shop, can't you tell?
You got carry out?
Everything that you need, we have here at the shop. Very unique. You order today, carry out tonight. That's our version of carry out.
All right, I'll take one of everything.
Well, that may take a little longer. We'll have it for you tomorrow night.
I'll be back tomorrow to pick it up.
We'll be waiting for you.
Burtner Electric Incorporated has been proudly serving our residential and commercial customers with quality electrical repair for over 33 years. We are fully licensed and insured in electrical wiring and electrician service packages. You'll receive a competitive assessment whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, first-time or long-time customer. We offer free estimates for any new project. Call our licensed and experienced electricians today.
You want a career that creates experiences that are impossible to forget. By studying sports and events at IUPUI, you'll get hands-on experience in and out of the classroom. And with Indy as your classroom, there are high-profile events, sports franchises, hotels, museums, and large organizations across the city to engage, educate, and enlighten your student journey before you graduate. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to prepare you to handle any event, big or small. It all starts here.
At Morales Group Staffing, we are all about building better futures. And during these times, we are working hard to put people to work. We are now hiring for hundreds of jobs with pay up to $17 an hour. Visit our website at moralesgroup.net or text JOBS, JOBS, to 317-472-7600 to apply now and get hired today.
You're good at keeping the car clean. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
High school sports fans, welcome back to Game Time. To pure spirits, to pure sport. Welcome back to high school sports.
Fans, I'm IHSAA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and I just want to say, welcome back.
This is Game Time. This is Indiana high school sports. This is your IHSAA.
You want a career that will transform your life while you change the lives of others by helping them live well. With a health or exercise sciences degree from IUPUI School of Health and Human Sciences, you will gain an in-depth understanding of the healthcare industry while preparing you for a variety of graduate and professional programs in health. And with Indy as your classroom, you will have clinical options within leading hospitals right in our backyard, as well as a degree from Indiana University, reputable leaders in the healthcare industry. It all starts here.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
You're good at basement basketball.
We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
Mortgage Group. I've been teaching here at Guerin Catholic for 13 years. I've been assistant coach also for 13 years. And I think it's important in today's world that we have young people growing up with the morals and values of faith-based education.
Hello, I'm Dwayne Thompson with Integrity Mortgage Group, and I support Guerin Catholic High School because I'm good friends and business partners with assistant coach Tommy Mascari. And any chance I have to support a Christ-centered education for today's youth, I take advantage of that opportunity and support in any way I can with my time, effort, volunteering, funds, and commercials like these.
Together we soar.
Guerin Catholic Sports on IndianaSRN,
where you're always in the game.
Inside the nest in Noblesville, Indiana, a 4A basketball matchup on IndianaSRN. The Guerin Catholic Golden Eagles play host to the number 11th ranked Panthers of North Central out of Indianapolis. Today's broadcast is brought to you by the Morales Group, building better futures one story at a time. By Bertner Electric, your licensed and experienced electrician serving Central Indiana. IU Sports Management, a lifetime of sport with a winning degree. Piper Logistics, 3 services, 1 solid logistical solution, and by Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown farm equipment dealer. Good afternoon, everybody. Alongside Jarrett Lewis, I'm Kurt Darling. Thank you so much for joining us today on IndianaSRN for a highly anticipated 4A matchup on the north side of Indianapolis. Jarrett, obviously this is a big one for Guerin Catholic at home here today. 10-7 on the season, but also North Central, they are number 6 in the overall poll, to say the least, for a reason. Number 11 in Class 4A. It's going to be a tough test here today for the Golden Eagles.
And you like being on your home court if you're Guerin Catholic, and this is going to be a tough matchup for them. Both teams are really riding a lot of good momentum. Some win streaks for both of them. For North Central, they've won 7 of their last 8. For Guerin Catholic, they were on a 4-game win streak before their last game, which was a loss to Noblesville. So both teams are really playing their best basketball as we get towards the sort of the meat and potatoes of this season later, when it really starts to matter. And it's been tough schedules too for both of these squads. I mean, they've played some really good teams. Of course, both these teams are in the higher classes, 4A and 3A. So, but a great season for both of these two, and kind of a weird situation playing a mid-afternoon game, a 2:30 start. We'll see how that affects both of these teams.
And it certainly is unusual to have a mid-afternoon game, but you sometimes see that here on Saturdays and weekend contests here in the IHSAA. But also adding to the irregularity as well is the fact of the week that we've had. A lot of snow falling, many schools closed for about through the last 3 days of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. That means no practice and no game games that you may have had scheduled. Luckily for these two squads, they did not have any games scheduled between January 29th and today, so they don't lose any games, but they do lose some valuable practice time.
Yeah, both of these teams, they haven't played since January 29th, so it's been kind of a week-long preparation, and we saw the girls' sectionals get pushed back a couple of days because of the weather that we got on Wednesday and Thursday. Games even yesterday got pushed to today on the girls' side, but I guess you sometimes like that little break. I mean, especially this late in the season. So I think the weather may have benefited some of these teams just a little bit in preparation, because for Guerin Catholic, this is one of the toughest teams that they'll play all year. It's a high-scoring team in North Central. They may have to score upwards in the 60s to try and compete with the Panthers.
And, of course, the Panthers themselves score 63 points per contest. Guerin Catholic averaging just shy of 58 points per game. Bob Allen is the head coach of the Guerin Catholic Golden Eagles. He's in his 4th year at the helm of Guerin Catholic. He's in his 10th year overall with 115 career wins. Meanwhile, Kevin Gant, the first-year head coach for North Central, is 13-4 in his career, obviously matching the 13-4 record that North Central brings into this ball club. But needless to say, Kevin Gant, he is a very decorated both player and coach. He played his college ball at the University of Southern Indiana before becoming an assistant coach. Overall, he won 246 games, leading the Screaming Eagles both on the floor and on the sideline as well.
How about a good first year? You come here to North Central, it's just your first season. You already have as many wins as you do last year. So really keeping this program up and going in the right direction is Coach Gant. And he's got some height. He's got some guys that play really well both inside and outside. Most of his players are 6 foot or taller, including 2 guys that are 6'6". That's Joey Brown and David Lloyd, 2 guys that we will definitely see tonight have a huge impact for North Central.
This broadcast copyrighted by IndianaSRN and the Indiana High School Athletic Association for the private use of our audience. The use of pictures, videos, and audio without the expressed written permission of the IHSAA is strictly prohibited. We'll take a timeout. Back with more of the pregame show coming up next on IndianaSRN. Back with Jarrett Lewis, I'm Kurt Darling, tuning in here on IndianaSRN for a heck of a matchup between the Guerin Catholic Golden Eagles playing at home against the number 11th in Class 4A North Central Panthers. Well, Jarrett, obviously we talked a little bit about the coaching staff and just kind of the overall feel of how this game is going to be, but let's dive into a few players as well. It's interesting to see how Guerin Catholic, they've really experimented with their starting lineup over the last few days or so, last few weeks or so, because things weren't working in the early going for Coach Bob Allen, just kind of figuring out some team chemistry. Well, over the last few games, they've been going with 5 guards to start the year. Obviously, one of those guards being Will Grissom, averaging 19 points per contest for this Guerin Catholic squad.
Just a tremendous player, really sets the tone in a variety of ways. He's a patient player. So whatever defense he sees presented by the opponent, he knows exactly how to attack it. He's going to play kind of around the free throw line, the elbows. I mean, he could shoot it from anywhere and score in any sort of fashion. Just a tremendous player, and we got to see him play 2 games ago. You and I both. We had Guerin Catholic and Lafayette Central Catholic, and he had a pretty solid game. He only had 12 points, but he was the leading scorer, and he was coming off a 31-point game the game prior. So just he's going to do whatever needs to be done. He's going to play his role just like the rest of his starting 5. And Coach Bob Allen, I think we know what the starting 5 is going to be. But, yeah, 5 guards. I mean, if they can hold opponents to around 50 points a game, which is what they're averaging just about, I mean, you could put anybody out there. He trusts the 5 guys that he puts out there regardless of their position.
And you mentioned Will Grissom only having 12 points in their previous outing against Lafayette Central Catholic. Keep in mind, that is still technically a good performance considering the fact that they had 8 other players scoring on senior night back against LCC.
Yeah, he went with a different starting lineup. 2 guys that usually don't start, but they were both seniors. And then you had some guys come off the bench like Jack Cherry, who's a usual starter, and he contributed well. So it's a team effort. This Guerin Catholic team just plays so well all together on both ends of the floor. Very well coached. Bob Allen in his 4th year has had a tremendous record here in Noblesville.
North Central coming out of the highly contested MIC Conference, the Metropolitan Interscholastic Conference, where right now they are sitting in the middle of the pack with a 1-3 conference record, despite the fact that they have a 13-4 overall record. So needless to say, they're 1-3 in the conference, yet they only have 4 losses on the whole season. Just goes to show you how tough of a schedule that this Panthers team plays all season.
Maybe the most difficult, the strongest conference in the whole state of Indiana. Just so many good teams in that conference, but also their sectional. Sectional number 10 is probably the toughest in the entire state. There are 6 teams, I believe, in that sectional, and all but 1 have a 500 record or better. So it is going to be a tough going the rest of the way out for North Central, but don't count them out. I mean, it's anybody's sectional, really. In sectional number 10, you have Tech, Lawrence North Cathedral, and North Central, along with Warren Central, all those teams 500 or better.
North Central along with Arsenal Tech, Lawrence Central, and then you have Cathedral, Lawrence North, Crispus Attucks, and Warren Central all in that sectional number 10. And a lot of those teams, as you said, Jared, have had excellent seasons so far this season. North Central coming in on a 3-game winning streak, wins over Muncie Central, Warren Central, and Fort Wayne South. This is the 4th road game in a row for the Panthers coming into this one before they go back home against Pike coming up on February 11th. Meanwhile, Guerin Catholic, they have had a much more favorable stint, even though they have lost one. They lost 1 game against North Central on the road. They had won 4 previously going into that one. We'll take a timeout. Don't go anywhere. Starting lineups coming up next on IndianaSRN.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
You want a career that creates experiences that are impossible to forget. By studying sports and events at IUPUI, you'll get hands-on experience in and out of the classroom. And with Indy as your classroom, there are high-profile events, sports franchises, hotels, museums, and large organizations across the city to engage, educate, and enlighten your student journey before you graduate. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to prepare you to handle any event, big or small. It all starts here.
This is the Frells family's land. When the sun comes out, the kids run and play right there. This used to be a shed. Now, it's where they get breakfast. This is more than just land. It's home. The Frells family runs with us on a John Deere 1 Series tractor. This land isn't the only thing that should live on for generations. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere 1 Series for more.
Visit Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer today at reynoldsfarmequipment.com.
At Morales Group Staffing, we are all about building better futures. And during these times, we are working hard to put people to work. We are now hiring for hundreds of jobs with pay up to $17 an hour. Visit our website at moralesgroup.net or text JOBS, JOBS, to 317-472-7600 to apply now and get hired today.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
Welcome back to Indiana SRN alongside Jarrett Lewis. I'm Kurt Darling as we get set for a good matchup between North Central and Guerin Catholic here on the north side of Indianapolis. You see the starting lineups taking place here right now for North Central. You have C.J. Joliffe along with Blake Fleming, Joey Brown, a 6'6" guard, not a forward, a guard, along with David Lloyd and also Davis Olson. Now let's take a look at the starting lineups for Guerin Catholic. As you see, going to be a usual starting lineup here. Now 3 guards and forwards on paper, but really you have pretty much 5 guards playing in the starting lineup here, Jarrett.
Yeah, don't take the letters under or above their name to be exact. I mean, these guys can play anywhere, and just the way they move around offensively, they cut well without the basketball in their hands. They make proper screens. The 5 guys that are being out there for Coach Allen just move extremely well with or without the basketball, and they all play exactly like you said, just like 5 guards.
You also mentioned, you talked about Jack Cherry earlier, who didn't get the start the last time because it was senior night. Coach Allen starting all 4 seniors and Will Grissom on top of that, but now you have Cherry back in the lineup. He had a heck of an outing against Lafayette Central Catholic. It's not really so much scoring for him, but rather facilitating and really being a true point guard out there.
Yeah, he only had 4 points, which is kind of a lot for how that game went. It was a 56-39 final score. They really started to score a lot better later into the game, Guerin Catholic did, but it's a lot of guys that are getting involved and they just play their role, and Cherry is a guy that can really push the pace a little bit. When he has the basketball in his hands after a missed shot, he's looking to get it across half court and get some fast break points.
Will Grissom will stand up next to Joey Brown here at center court. We get set to go. Jarrett Lewis, keys to the game for both teams to be successful.
Well, you can see a height advantage, first of all, with Brown at 6'6". Grissom is one of the tallest guys on the floor for Guerin Catholic. North Central could use that to their advantage and play well inside. North Central does score the ball a lot better than Guerin Catholic does. They're at 63 points a game.
So North Central will get things rolling on offense early here as you once again see Joey Brown handling it up top. Some excellent ball movement here from the Panthers in the early going. Fleming working right now on Sorensen. He steps back along the baseline and drills a baseline jumper, and you're going to be seeing a lot of that here tonight. As you mentioned, 63 points a contest from North Central.
That's so tough to guard, and here's a quick foul going against North Central. That was on Olsen, but the shot from Fleming, it's tough to guard a guy when he has that speed and that explosiveness to get to the bucket, and then all of a sudden he does a step back and he creates all that space. That's so tough to guard.
Cherry, again, an excellent passer for this Guerin Catholic squad, working it around the horn to both Baird and Sorensen is going to be knocked out of bounds. Another foul going to be called on North Central, and again, it looks like it's Davis Olson. And correction, that's actually going to be David Lloyd, picking up his first and the team's second.
That may be the matchup this afternoon, Grissom and Lloyd. Lloyd has just a couple of inches on him.
Lucas Parker spinning in the lane, can't quite get it to finish at the rim. Quickly back the other way come the Panthers. Inside, Joey Brown, and you see him doing a lot of that finishing right at the rim, but again, on the other side, just as it was on the other side of the floor, it doesn't go. But here comes Jack Cherry outside, 3 on the way from Lucas Parker.
It's exactly what we talked about right before the tip. That's what Cherry does. Off of a miss, he got by the entire defense nearly, and nobody picked up Parker in the corner.
Zone defense now from Guerin Catholic, going to try and force North Central to shoot it from outside. But inside goes Joey Brown. Excellent read by the offense of North Central.
And I think that was Lloyd who set up a screen, and he just curled it right there in the lane. Well-designed play from Coach Gant and North Central.
Robert Sorensen can't scoop it off of the glass. And hitting it in stride the other way comes Davis Lloyd, and he can't finish either.
Lloyd tried to bring the house down in the first quarter.
It's become a track meet a little bit here. Grissom loads up a 3. That's a little too strong. And Fleming coming down with the rebound.
And North Central's lucky after Grissom missing that 3 because you had the missed dunk you thought you were going to make, and the defense was late getting back.
Outside Davis Lloyd. Outside to Fleming again, and this time he is fouled going up for the three-pointer, and it looks like we're going to get 3 shots. And so they're going to get Robert Sorensen with his first and the team's first on Guerin Catholic. So Blake Fleming, the 6'1" senior, knocks down the first of 3. Already getting going pretty hot here, and so far, both teams just really upping the pace here in these first few minutes.
He sure is. He's got a complete offensive game, Fleming does, and we just saw him take that three-point shot. So it looks like he can shoot the ball just about anywhere. Free throw shots are looking good, too. He's got a nice, smooth stroke.
North Central went 13-10 a year ago. They have 13 wins already this season to 4 losses, so certainly moving in the right direction is Coach Kevin Gantt's squad. Back the other way come the Golden Eagles with Cherry. He leaves it now up top for Parker. Parker over to Sorensen. Will Grissom kicks it back outside to Baird. He puts it off the glass, draws the foul, can't finish, but will go to the line for 2.
Yeah, I think he got bumped on the head, but that's where Grissom, we talked about it a little bit, when he gets to that free throw line, he's just a super smart player, stays patient, waiting for his guys to cut, and it was a good cut made that time by Baird, and he'll go to the free throw line.
So now Davis Olson picks up his second personal foul, so we'll see what Coach Gantt decides to do in keeping him in the game or taking him out. Patrick Baird knocks down the first foul shot. Patrick Baird is one of the seasoned veterans here for Guerin Catholic. He had a season-high 10 points against Lafayette Central Catholic as he misses the second foul shot. On the other side of the floor, Jameer Jackson now into the ball game for the first time here for North Central. Jackson, long pass to Fleming and a cut inside to Joey Brown.
It's well done by Fleming as the defense came over and cut him off on the baseline. Brown makes a nice cut.
And Will Grissom dribbles it off of the knee of one of the North Central players. I think it was Jackson who got the last touch. And now we see C.J. Joliffe check into the ball game. And Davis Olson will take a seat with 2 personal fouls. And Cherry trying to get Sorensen on the cut, but North Central read that one well and comes away with the steal. Fleming. Couple of passes around the horn. Jackson loads up a top of the key 3, way short. And there is a nice heads-up play by David Lloyd to bounce it off of Sorensen out of bounds.
I'm not sure if Jackson got hit or anything. I think Sorensen came out and closed out on him on the three-point shot. Now he's going to take a seat. New guy checking in, Christian Woodson. But he missed everything on that three-point shot.
Woodson with it now. Goes around the horn to Joliffe and now to Fleming. 4.5 minutes left to go here in this first quarter. Joliffe on the elbow, tries to find it out to Fleming for 3, and he drains it.
Boy, Fleming is hot early, and that's going to force Coach Allen to call a timeout.
And it is going to be a 30-second timeout here to stop things up as Guerin Catholic will try to regroup after dropping down to an 11-4 deficit. Serenity Care Service is an Indiana licensed service agency. We are the friendly, experienced team of caregivers that you have been seeking. Call Angela today at 317-900-6202. Serenity Care Services, serving Indianapolis and the 5 surrounding area counties. So now if you're Coach Bob Allen here, Jarrett, what are you telling your team here to try and settle them down here through these first 3 minutes and 49 seconds?
Well, we saw him send Holba and Chandler to the scores table. They're going to check in. For the first time, we see some substitutions. North Central had already gone to the bench, I think, 3 times. And I think Coach Allen saw his defense start to break down on that possession last. He may move away from the 2-3 zone. We'll see what happens once they come back to this end of the floor. But that three-pointer was a great look for Fleming.
Tipped out of bounds on the inbound. It stays with Guerin Catholic. They'll try again here as North Central going to apply a little bit of defensive pressure as the 2 substitutions are in the ballgame. Kamia Chandler averaging 5.5 points per contest. He's been a utility player off of the bench, as has Josh Holba. He can't finish along the baseline. Screaming down the court. Euro step by Kristen Woodson, and he draws a foul.
No one stops the ball, so Woodson just takes advantage of it, takes it all the way himself. You like seeing a player like Woodson come off the bench for Coach Gant and already starting to make an impact.
So Kamiya Chandler picks up his first personal foul. That's going to be the team's second. As you see Woodson balk on the first free throw attempt. And of course, we've talked about how they start 5 guards, but the one thing that that kind of limits them to is defense. But Coach Allen says that that's really opened them up offensively whenever it's kind of traded off a little bit.
Yeah, we saw it in their game against LCC, just how well they were moving offensively with their 5-guard play. And here so far, it's been their defensive end that has started to hurt them in this first quarter.
Chandler gives it back to Grissom, nearly drags his pivot foot. He keeps his wits about him there as Cherry tries to work through some traffic in the forecourt. Cherry has a size disadvantage right now here against Joey Brown. Outside to Grissom. Spin move inside, can't finish, hook shot on the way, and it does not fall for him.
It doesn't go, but still, there's that patience again from Grissom. It was a good cut by Sorensen. He came from the weak side, just not there for Cherry.
Mason Lewis into the ball game, and he steps along the baseline as he tried to keep the ball in play, and it goes back to Guerin Catholic.
And they're going to stick with this full court press. It hasn't been like a fourth quarter style full court press, but just something to slow down Guerin Catholic in the slightest.
Kamiya Chandler splits the double team. Nice play to get it back across the timeline to Cherry, and he brings it back, and he's going to get a foul committed against him here, and they're probably going to get, looks like Christian Woodson picking up his first. So Woodson gets the first foul, and we'll see North Central probably check in Davis Olson back into the ball game here. Remember, he has 2 personal fouls. Blake Fleming going to take a seat. Nice inbound to Grissom on the back door.
And Joliffe was not expecting it at all. Grissom was acting like he was going to cut across the lane, but he just does a simple spin move on the block.
First 2 points of the ball game for Will Grissom, averaging just shy of 20 points per contest as he. 3 ball on the way for North Central. That's Joliffe, and he is just a little strong. Nice screaming pass up court here to Sorensen, but he can't do anything with it, and he checks it back out to Chandler, who splits into the lane, fires it off the glass. Nothing there. Long pass in stride again for North Central, kicking it back and forth. Up top to Joey Brown. Euro step inside, knocked away, but they're going to say he was touched on the skin. Foul on Guerin Catholic.
It's either Holba or Grissom. One of them, I thought, came in from behind and knocked it away cleanly. It is going to be on Holba.
And that'll be his third.
Great passing
or his
on
first,
the part
rather.
of North Central. So first, Guerin Catholic misses the shot from Chandler, and then they're getting it up the floor quickly, and I believe all 5 guys touched the basketball, and they were giving it off.
3 ball on the way for North Central. Joliffe pulling the trigger, can't do it again, too strong. And now Guerin Catholic has a chance to take advantage of some missed opportunities here for North Central. Grissom navigating traffic, again can't finish. It's tipped out of play, and they say it's North Central basketball.
Shots have been hard to put down so far for Grissom. The defense, North Central knows that he's their guy. And just 2 points to his credit so far, but they've done a nice job of not giving him any more.
We have a whistle away from the ball here as it kind of delays the inbound. And now Mason Lewis bringing it up court for North Central. Lewis over to Olson, facing the 2-3 zone again here from Guerin Catholic. Olson tries a 3, and that rings around the rim, and it goes through. Second 3 of the ball game here for North Central. Cherry back the other way. Again, directing some traffic. A nice feed inside, this time to Aiden Cannon, coming off the bench and drawing the and 1 foul. And if you're Guerin Catholic, that might be the way to try and knock into this lead, because they haven't really been able to make things happen from outside.
And Cannon, all of a sudden, I mean, if you're North Central, you almost forget about him, because he is a guy that can start for Coach Allen. And him being out there, you can see just how big of a body he is. He's going to be tough to handle.
And so that's going to be another foul on Davis Olson. 3 personal fouls for him. That is certainly not what you want to see if you're Coach Kevin Gant, especially going into the second quarter.
This has been a long first quarter.
Indeed it has. Still, it's only a 6-point deficit now for Guerin Catholic. Fleming tries to bounce it underneath to Woodson, and he's able to rattle it home in traffic.
That's a great pass. As you drive baseline, the defense has to come over and try to cut you off, and Woodson makes the appropriate cut.
Kamia Chandler, little triangle offense. Outside, Cherry tries a three, and he hits! The sophomore, who rarely scores, is able to get it through when he has to.
Guerin Catholic makes it look so easy beating that zone defense. It's just quick passing. When you have guys that can shoot like Cherry, you give them enough space like that, it'll be too easy.
So only a 5-point deficit now for the Golden Eagles. Nice cut back inside to Joliffe for the Panthers.
And the Panthers, they just cut so well, too. I mean, they are giving it right back to Guerin Catholic. When they get into the lane, I mean, they are timing everything perfectly and getting off point-blank shots that are going down.
Inside a minute to play now in this first. Parker over to Cherry, back to Chandler. There's some wide open space inside momentarily. Cherry through the lane, a nice scoop and score by the sophomore.
Boy, Cherry took all that contact, and he made sure the ball was well out of the reach of the defender with his left hand. Nicely done using the glass.
5 straight points for Jack Cherry. 10 seconds to work with now for North Central. Lewis directing some traffic. He wants a screen. Doesn't get much of one. Loose ball corralled by Kamia Chandler. He fires it at the buzzer. Can't get that one to go. And after the end of quarter number 1, it's North Central on top, 19-14. Quarter number 2 coming at you next on IndianaSRN.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Only a 5-point deficit now for Guerin going to quarter number 2 against the 11th-ranked Panthers of North Central. Alongside Jarrett Lewis, I'm Kurt Darling. Well, Jarrett, Guerin was kind of able to figure some things out there in the latter stages of that first quarter.
Yeah, I mean, we knew they would. I mean, you have a long break. Sometimes you got to knock the rust off just a little bit in a couple of minutes. Plus, we added in the pregame how it's a 2:30 start. We don't usually have games like that. I mean, you'll get them on Saturdays, but for us here, this is kind of unfamiliar territory as well, mid-afternoon. So maybe the same thing for both these teams, just a slow start, but a high-scoring first quarter still, nonetheless.
Will Grissom checks back into the ball game after taking a little bit of a breather. And the Golden Eagles start with the ball here, and there's going to be a foul coming up, and it's going to be against Joey Brown. That'll be his first and the team's 5th. And speaking of fouls, Davis Olson likely going to be not getting any minutes here in this second quarter. That's a huge loss out of the starting lineup for the Panthers, seeing as how he has 3 fouls. You don't want him to get any more.
And the 3 points, too. He knocked down that 3-point field goal. Looks like he is a 3-point threat.
Matthew Etchison, a nice cut underneath and can't finish, does Lucas Parker. He was standing wide open and couldn't complete the open door pass. Etchison coming off of the bench here today. One of the players that sometimes starts in the all-guard lineup. Outside, Davis Lloyd knocks down a top of the key 3. The 3rd 3-pointer of the night here for Garrett for North Central. Etchison kicks it back to Baird. Runs into a brick wall along the baseline. Here comes Will Grissom screaming down the lane. Can't finish, and neither can Sorensen on the putback. Long pass. Corner to Fleming. Looking inside to Joey Brown. He spins around and going to be a foul committed. They're going to count the basket and give the foul to Robert Sorensen.
I'm not sure what happened there defensively, but it ended up being Sorensen getting switched up on Brown. Definitely not the matchup you want to see. There's the negative side of playing those 5 guards, and Cannon only had a couple of minutes in that first quarter.
Of course, if you're going to match up anybody on Brown, it would probably be Grissom here in this lineup. And North Central's really been able to kind of figure out how to create those mismatches.
And they've scored a lot of their points down low. Brown now has 7.
Largest lead of the game now for North Central at 11 points. 6.5 left to play in the second. Etchison leaves it for Grissom. Facing a double team, Grissom tries to maneuver his way inside, and they're going to say he traveled, took one too many steps going toward the basket there.
And Grissom has stayed aggressive. I mean, he has found a way to try to thread the needle, go between the defenders, and get to the block. But unfortunately, just 2 points to his credit, the defense has just been right on his hip.
Fleming on the wing, a sweeping pass inside to Brown, spin move and score.
And that was just a great cut by Brown. He came from the opposite corner into the lane. I mean, their timing on their passes has just been perfect.
North Central starting to pull away here from this one as Cherry tries to stop the bleeding, and they're going to say he was fouled on the floor, no shot, and they're going to give this one to Christian Woodson, his second. And so that's team foul number 6 on North Central. Actually make that foul number 7, so they're going to be 1-and-1 fouls here from here on out as Jack Cherry will try to do the honors with this one.
And this is, you're kind of treading dangerous waters if you're Guerin Catholic. You're facing your largest deficit. It's still early on in this ball game. A lot left to go in the second quarter. You don't want to get this thing well out of hand early on.
Coach Allen putting some size back into the lineup now as Aiden Cannon will check back in. Jack Cherry, usually a reliable free throw shooter, and he hits the front end and earns another and gets a couple right there.
I think half the players out there forgot how to play basketball. There's more free throws.
Because, yeah, this was not an and one. It was a 1-and-1, so they get back on the line. Kind of threw me for a loop there a little bit.
And Cherry ends the 8-0 run that North Central had to start the second quarter.
Cherry, a little too strong on the second one, but Cherry now has 6 points in this contest. His season high is 10. Looking underneath, a nice find to Joey Brown, and they're going to say he got that one as well, and another and-one opportunity. Jack Cherry going to pick up his first foul.
Joey Brown is starting to take over in this ball game. At first, it was a mismatch with Cannon on the smaller Jackson. And so then now you're thinking, okay, who's guarding Joey Brown? Well, it was smart by Jackson to drive in, and again, it's another Brown cut towards the bucket. He's done that so much this first half.
And with that made free throw, Brown now has 12 points to lead all scorers. Kamia Chandler tries to maneuver inside. He loses the handle on the ball. They're going to say it was tipped out by Chandler, and another costly turnover here for Guerin Catholic, and that's really been starting to rack up here in this second quarter.
And nothing's working inside. When they're driving it to the basket, I mean, North Central's defense down low is just almost unbeatable.
Wide open underneath, and the find to David Lloyd.
Well, Brown was starting to catch a hot hand, but you kind of forget about David Lloyd, too. He's also at 6'6". I mean, 2 guys playing down low at that height. Just proven to be too much so far for Guerin Catholic.
Another turnover, 3 straight turnovers for Guerin Catholic. They have not gotten a field goal at all here in this second quarter, 3 minutes in. Long three-pointer on the way from Fleming, doesn't go. Grissom comes away with the rebound. Cherry kicks it back out. 3-ball on the way from Etchison, and he hits. And that is a big, big shot from Etchison to stop the bleeding here for Guerin Catholic.
And that's how Guerin Catholic kind of has to get back to this ball game. With runs like that, Cherry starting things off with pushing the pace, and the defense is late to get back. Etchison's wide open.
Lloyd tries to answer with a three of his own. That's short, and Camilla gets a really hotly contested rebound and saves it as Cherry has to get it back across the timeline. He's triple teamed, and they're going to call a jump ball, and the arrow is going to favor North Central, it appears.
Well done by Lewis. He was the one that cut off Cherry because the entire defense of North Central was on that side of the court, and Lewis was able to get back and cut off Cherry, force the jump ball. If Cherry's able to get off a pass, that's going to be an easy shot for Guerin Catholic.
So that's now 4 turnovers in the last 5 possessions for Guerin Catholic. A credit to the defense being played by North Central. Brown, bounce pass into the lane. Fleming outside for 3. Another one for Blake Fleming.
Just too easy. The ball movement was superb that possession. Cannon was going straight up on Brown, forcing him to get off a pass. Well, the defense has to continue to move around. Fleming's ended up being the open guy.
Grissom puts it off the glass.
That's a tough take. Good answer by Grissom. Hopefully something to start to get him some confidence, get him going.
You got to get him going, certainly, as Lloyd tries to keep himself going, but Grissom only has 4 points for Guerin. Not usually what you see out of him. He tries to keep the momentum. He passes underneath, and a nice take to Lucas Parker. Timeout on the floor. North Central going to call the timeout here, and they're going to say it is a full timeout, I believe. And indeed it is. We take a break here on IndianaSRN.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
Timeout still on the floor here. Coach Bob Allen trying to keep the morale up for his Guerin Catholic squad. But before we go any further, let's take a look at this replay on this last score from Parker.
Well, again, it was another fast break started by Cherry, and Guerin Catholic was able to get behind the defense. And Grissom, he's been on attack mode this whole first half, and he hasn't had much success. But that time, Parker is right there left alone in the paint. Great vision by number 12, Will Grissom.
This is only the 5th time all-time that these two teams have met. North Central leads the overall series 3-1. Last time these two teams met was almost a year to the day ago. North Central getting the job done over Guerin 69-58 back on February 6th of 2021. Mason Lewis directing some traffic from the corner. No-look pass outside, 3 on the way, and that doesn't fall there for Charlie Baker, who's into the ball game for the first time today for North Central. Double team again in the forecourt. Guerin has to get rid of it over to Parker along the baseline. Nice find to Grissom. He's at the elbow. He tries to get it to Cannon. Instead, it's stolen by North Central, and then it's stolen right back by Guerin Catholic in transition. And now the Golden Eagles have a chance to try and take advantage of some loose defense, and they do with Will Grissom.
Boy, Grissom is just so silky with the basketball. Just his in-between-the-legs dribbles and just avoiding the defense, splitting the defenders. 6 points for him. It's been a quiet 6, but he's still been on attack mode.
And it is now a 6-0 run for Guerin Catholic over the last couple of minutes. Lewis from the lane. Not a lot of size there for Lewis, but he took advantage of his silkiness inside.
His first bucket, I don't know how he got that shot to go down. He had his options, too. Looked like he had a guy open in the corner, but a tough shot.
Grissom, floater on the way. Can't do it. Cannon fighting for the rebound. Loose ball on the floor. Who comes away with it? Jump ball. The arrow favors Guerin Catholic.
Cannon's going to have play a bigger role if the rest of this game, if Guerin Catholic's going to have a shot. He didn't play much in that first quarter, but I think Coach Allen realizes he's going to have him patrolling the lane, preventing Brown and Lloyd from getting off good shots. whenever they're inside the paint.
Largest lead of the ball game for North Central has been as many as 17 points. Guerin Catholic has gotten it back to 13 here.
And Holba checks in for Cannon. He's the same way. He's a bigger body. He's going to have to patrol the lane just like Cannon.
Cherry, nice alley-oop find off of the inbound to Grissom.
Well, they love running out of bounds plays solely for Grissom. We saw one in the first quarter.
Using his size.
That's right.
Fleming back on the other end for the Panthers. Splits into the lane. Scoop and score for Fleming.
Fleming had a great start to this ball game. 7 points in the first quarter. He's now at 12. He's been able to score from every spot in the court.
Nice find underneath on the backdoor cut to Holba.
And with the defense having to react to Grissom, who is so explosive, and he's always going towards the bucket, they have to come up, and Holba is wide open on the block.
And now you have a little bit of momentum here for Guerin Catholic, in spite of the fact they haven't really been able to chisel into this lead much, but it's back down to an 11-point deficit. Fleming, top of the key, nearly loses the handle. Baker finds Lewis. He goes along the baseline, tries to draw a foul, no whistle, and Guerin Catholic has a chance to cut it back into within 10 points. Grissom in transition can't finish off the side of the backboard. And Joey Brown is going to be held up in transition by Lucas Parker. They're going to get a foul on Parker here, and that will be his first. And Guerin's only that'll be their 7th personal foul now, so we'll be shooting 1-and-1 free throws here for North Central, it appears. No, it'll only be their 6th personal foul.
There's Grissom heading to the bench. We didn't see him get up immediately after he hit the floor pretty hard. They're going to check somebody in for him.
Off the inbound, 40 seconds left to go here in the second quarter. Mason Lewis taking his time. The Panthers certainly content to try and hold for a final shot here over the last 15. Lewis signaling for only one shot. He runs the offense with 10 seconds, dumps it off to Baker. 3 on the way, just a little short. Loose ball fought for. Cherry has a chance in the final seconds, throws it up. Can't get that one to go, and it'll be an 11-point deficit for Guerin Catholic going to halftime as North Central with a solid first half for the Panthers. They lead 39-28.
Panthers are really just beating them down low. A lot of their points, 39.5, is not something we usually see Guerin Catholic giving up, and a majority of those points have been scored in the paint. Joey Brown really having a field day so far. He's got 12 points. Lloyd has 5. He's hit a 3, but he's also been a factor down low. We'll see how Guerin Catholic tries to attack that in that second half. Will they keep Cannon out there for a majority of the time and also incorporate Holba to try to seal off that paint that North Central has really been taking advantage of?
Still, Guerin Catholic has been able to at least put some semblance of some offense together. They've been able to at least keep pace with North Central over the last few minutes. Needless to say, have a few adjustments to make going in to the second half. We'll go ahead and send it to halftime. Don't go anywhere. An 11-point lead for North Central over Guerin Catholic, 39-28. You're watching IHSAA boys basketball action on IndianaSRN.
The Guerin Catholic Golden Eagles have 2 new sponsors for their webcast this year. Tommy Mascari with Berkshire Hathaway and Dwayne Thompson with Integrity Mortgage Group.
I've been teaching here at Guerin Catholic for 13 years. I've been assistant coach also for 13 years. And I think it's important in today's world that we have young people growing up with the morals and values of faith-based education.
Hello, I'm Dwayne Thompson with Integrity Mortgage Group, and I support Guerin Catholic High School because I'm good friends and business partners with assistant coach Tommy Mascari. And any chance I have to support a Christ-centered education for today's youth, I take advantage of that opportunity and support in any way I can with my time, effort, volunteering, funds, and commercials like these.
Together we soar.
Guerin Catholic Sports on IndianaSRN,
where you're always in the game.
Today, greed, selfish interest, and barefaced corruption seem all the fashion. America needs great men of tolerance, who can give honest debate to the great issues of the day. I've seen mostly squabbling, men squandering their time, being wolves to one another. Yet, I'm not without hope. We still have Freemasonry. Yes, the same Freemasons that helped create this country have always provided great men when needed. And today, in every city and town in America, Freemasonry is still providing that special place where young men can find their greatness and accomplished men can give something back. Yes, in this time of great hope, it is my hope that America will see that Freemasonry is a national treasure that cannot be separated from our country's future.
I'm Mary. Welcome to Guerin Catholic High School. Many people believe that we're just like any other school, but I'm here today to show you that we're not. At Guerin Catholic, we are family. Now I know that sounds crazy, right? How can a school be like a family? Well, it all starts with St. Theodore Guerin herself. Her charisms inspire us every day. She's been praying for us since before the school was built, before we were even born. On one of her many resting places, it says, "I sleep, but I watch over the house that I have built." As a student, it's so inspiring to know that we have our own saint in heaven praying for us every day. But if you really want to understand what Guerin Catholic's all about, there's a lot more you need to know about us, starting with who we are. Mother Guerin also has some advice for the teachers. She says, love the children first, then teach them. It is these wise words that inspires our teachers to motivate students and look for the best ways to meet each student where they are. You might think with all this love, academics might not be important, but there is nothing further from the truth. It is because of our faith in seeking the truth that we aspire to know all that we can know. But we can't stop there. We have to know how to think about the knowledge in order to make a difference in the world. Whether you need a little extra help or you're ready to be challenged with an international baccalaureate diploma or anything in between, there is a place for you at Guerin Catholic. But we're not just about academics around here. At Guerin Catholic, we are well-rounded. There are so many ways for you to get involved. Obviously, we have sports. We have 21 athletic teams, including swimming. And if you don't play a sport, we're all about supporting those that do. Our student sections are so much fun. We are spirited. And we also have 43 clubs. So if you don't see anything you like, you can start another one. We also have band, choir, orchestra, and theater. We are involved. At Guerin Catholic, there are so many ways for you to discover and use the gifts that God has given you. We are creative. Getting involved in these activities is not just about having fun. It's also about developing skills that help you become a great leader and providing opportunities for you to lead. At Guerin Catholic, we are leaders. Another great way for you to grow as a leader is through service opportunities. There are so many ways for you to share your gifts with others. Mother Guerin says, you will be happy yourself in making others happy. That's what service is all about. By connecting to local organizations or through mission trips, you'll have plenty of opportunities to serve. At Guerin Catholic, we are compassionate. There are so many opportunities to travel at Guerin Catholic, from mission trips to Costa Rica to performing in New York City. We are explorers. You will find the Guerin Catholic community all around the world, working, singing, and learning all to get closer to Christ. Here we are at our chapel. This is where I leave you. But as you think about your future, I'll give you one last piece of advice from Mother Guerin. Do not give way to uneasiness about the future. Place yourself gently into the hands of Providence.
This is your IHSAA. This is your state. This is your high school. This is your athletic association.
Fans, I'm IHSAA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and we're here to make sure that all of this remains yours.
This is your state. This is your community. This is your IHSAA.
Second half brought to you by the IHSAA Foundation. Be sure to subscribe to our newsletter, The Advocate, at IHSAAfoundation.org. Thanks to the IHSAA Foundation for what they're doing for our student athletes. Alongside Jarrett Lewis, I'm Kurt Darling. Jarrett, obviously a second half that Guerin Catholic has to try and make a few adjustments going in here, but needless to say, North Central, they've looked very crisp on offense. Guerin, their problem has really been a lot of turnovers that have led to a lot of good points off of turnovers for the Panthers.
Yeah, for Brown and Lloyd combined, they had 17 points, and a lot of those points, except for 1 3 made by Lloyd, they were scoring it down low. And again, we're kind of beating a dead horse a little bit at this point, but it has been a lot of inside play where North Central has been able to take advantage, and their passing and cutting has been tremendous. Whenever they're getting it into the lane or there's a guy driving, there's guys like Brown who are making appropriate cuts, and the defense is just not picking up on it. And so maybe the pressure will pick up a lot more in the second half. I'm guaranteeing it will. Being down 11, you're going to have to try to make something happen, take some risks, try to force some turnovers. And I think that's where Guerin Catholic can get back into the ball game, where they're pushing the pace themselves, where Cherry is trying to start something, or Grissom. One of those two guys, they've been able to push the ball up the floor and try to get behind the North Central defense and beat them with fast break points. I think that's something that Guerin Catholic is going to have to do a lot more of in this half.
And it looks like Coach Allen's going to be going with Aiden Cannon to start the second half here. A little bit of a deviation from having started a couple of guards and forwards in the start of this game, and it looks like they're going to have Grissom on the bench to start the second half. So maybe a little bit of an injury that he's dealing with right now here after he took a hard lick in that first half.
And I think obviously you throw Cannon in there to try to prevent Brown from scoring at ease, and you want to force North Central to take tough shots, to shoot the basketball. They did knock down 4 threes by 4 different players, so they have guys that are capable of knocking it down from downtown, but still you would rather force them into tougher shots outside than have them have a field day in the paint.
So going into the second half, it'll be North Central to start the final 2 quarters of play of this basketball game. Leading the way for North Central in the first half was Blake Fleming and Joey Brown. They each had 12 points apiece. So here we go with the second half. Panthers with the basketball. Fleming goes into the corner, and it looks like Davis Olson will be back into the lineup for this one. Remember, he's playing with 3 fouls. Fleming loads up a contested 3. Olson gets the rebound off of the miss, and North Central will reset the offense.
I actually misspoke. North Central has 5 threes as a team, and Fleming has 2 of them. Fleming has been proven to be a knockdown three-point shooter, as is Lloyd.
And that makes it 6 three-pointers for North Central. And a whistle, and it looks like an immediate timeout being taken by Guerin Catholic, a 30-second timeout. Family Source Insurance is a proud sponsor of today's broadcast. We have you covered. Auto, home, life, or business. Call Pat Sherry and get a quote today. 317-884-8046. Look to Family Source Insurance for all of your needs. Email us at www.familysourceinsurance.com. That's in FamilySourceInsurance.com. Alongside Jarrett Lewis, I'm Kurt Darling. Jarrett, not the start right here for Guerin Catholic that you want to see, but giving up those 3-pointers, but still, Guerin Catholic, they're going to have to do all they can, especially if Will Grissom is not able to go. Right now, his return questionable on the sideline.
He got off to a pretty hot start in the second quarter. He only had 2 points at the end of one, but went into halftime with 8, so that second quarter was good for him. It's unfortunate if he's unable to go. That was one of those timeouts from Coach Allen where he probably talked about exactly what had just happened there in the locker room, and Guerin Catholic did not end up doing what he asked of them. And so he's getting that timeout out of the way quickly to say, look, you better fix this right now. We just went over this in the locker room.
Ball sails out of bounds, and we mentioned turnovers. Talking to Coach Bob Allen earlier last week, he said that one of the big goals is to start taking better care of the basketball and getting fewer turnovers, but something that's certainly been a struggle here today. Cherry looks inside to Cannon, dribbles once off the deck and draws a foul on Joey Brown.
Cannon looks like he can have his way. He can try to bully Brown down low. Now, they match up height-wise, but Cannon definitely has a lot more muscle to him, a lot more weight, so it's going to be hard. If Cannon starts to back down Brown like that, or anybody who ends up on Cannon, he can try to get some shots in off the block.
So Cannon with 2 foul shots here gets his first. He now has 4 points. Meanwhile, you saw the conference of the 4 other players with Coach Bob Allen, obviously a little frustrated with how the Guerin Catholic Golden Eagles have been able to set things up here in these first few seconds of the third quarter. Meanwhile, Cannon is able to get the second foul shot down. He has 5 points. Back to a 12-point lead for North Central. Lloyd puts it back up top now to Jackson. Kicking it back to Olsen. And now Brown, this time working on Patrick Baird. Step back jumper and drains it along the baseline.
It's unguardable. I mean, Brown is just such a complete player. Guerin Catholic is switching everything, too. Any ball screen or any screen away from the ball, they are switching everything defensively.
Brown has some mid to high mid-major interest. He's one of the top 10 recruited juniors in the state of Indiana this year. Cherry, the one-handed bounce pass all the way around the horn to Baird. Kicking it back out, 3 on the way from Sorensen, and he takes advantage of the opening.
There's a hard closeout coming from North Central, too, and Sorensen, he's solid. He got it off quickly, but still kept that nice same jump shot. Well done by Robert Sorensen.
Olsen tries to answer deep from 3, and he hits. And that's something that was certainly missed in that first half whenever he was sitting on the bench with 3 fouls.
2 threes already knocked down this quarter from North Central. Olsen hits his second.
Outside, Sorensen again tries a 3. Back-to-back-to-back threes. Back and forth we go from behind the arc with these two teams.
That was another thing about Guerin Catholic trying to get back into this ball game, along with trying to get fast break points. You may have to try and shoot your way out of this. You are shooting the 3 ball pretty well this season.
34% to be exact. As Jackson pulls up from the elbow, no good. And this is where Guerin Catholic can really try and take advantage of some opportunities. Sorensen, is it a heat check? Yes, it is. Can't get it that time, but a rebound and jump ball is going to be called, and the arrow favors Guerin Catholic. So a heads-up play there by Aiden Cannon to go on and hold on to that basketball.
You know, that wasn't much of a fast break. North Central had gotten back in time, but Cherry was still dribbling the ball with some pace across midcourt, keeping his eyes peeled, and he saw Sorensen, who's got the hot hand. Let's try another one and go into the corner this time.
So Kamia Chandler checks into the ball game now for Cannon. Parker into the lane. Nice sweeping pass to Baird, kicking it back around the horn. And some nice ball movement here from Guerin. Sorensen contested, and he hits again! Robert Sorensen with 3 straight three-pointers to his credit out of 4 shots. He now has a quick 9 points in this third quarter.
Get that man the ball. It's now an 8-point deficit. Sorensen is on fire.
Joey Brown tries to put out that fire, and he does with that baseline jumper again. And now a whistle, and in transition, looks like we have a The conference at the scores table right now. The officials couldn't quite see what the indicator was. Maybe something to do with the clock. And we still remain stagnant for the time being. Not sure what the stoppage is for. Oh, and it looks like we had a camera flash come from the stands. And just another reminder to fans, you can't have flashing cameras at high school basketball games.
Yeah, you could hear the PA guy. Haven't seen or heard one of those in a while at a high school game.
So it's back to a 10-point advantage for North Central. Guerin Catholic doing all they can to keep pace. Parker, bounce pass to Camilla Chandler. Nice feed to Chandler and some excellent ball movement from the Eagles here over the last few minutes.
Well, Parker first missed Cherry, who did the exact same backdoor cut. And as he started dribbling it towards the yellow paint, Chandler came in and gave a backdoor cut of his own.
Olsen tries to keep the momentum with the Panthers, and he does. Olsen with 3 3-pointers of his own in this ball game.
It's a 3-point shooting contest right now between these two.
Cut to the basket by Sorensen, and he finishes.
Sorensen is out here having his way.
He has 11 points in this quarter alone after he had 0 in the first 2 quarters.
I was going to say, Guerin Catholic might have to score 60 to keep pace. And
cut by Olsen, can't get the shot to fall. They will not count the follow-up there by Joey Brown. And the foul coming up on Guerin.
I was going to say, the Golden Eagles are definitely going to have to keep pace with North Central, a team that scores 63 points a game, which they may end up getting at this third quarter.
And so Patrick Barrett picks up the first foul of the half here for Guerin, his first on him as well. And Olsen keeping the scoring going with some foul shots here. And so we'll see Christian Woodson check back into the ballgame for North Central, as well as Etchison for Guerin.
How about Olsen shooting the basketball? I think he may have one missed 3, but he's hit 3, so he is shooting it well from downtown.
Balks at the second foul shot. Rebound to Camilla Chandler. Chandler certainly athletic off the bench. Step back from the elbow, short on the shot. Davis Olsen getting some NAIA interest as well as some D3 colleges, and it goes out of bounds. They're going to say it was off of Guerin. Olsen also is a team captain. He's been shooting around 35% from behind the arc this season. And Brown is touched from behind by Cherry, it looks like.
And you see the 5 out there right now for Guerin. I'm not sure who exactly is the tallest or the best suited player to tackle Brown, but right now it's Cherry.
4 guards and a forward on the floor here for Guerin Catholic, the only forward being Camilla Chandler. Patrick Baird standing all of 6'1". He actually plays as a guard on this roster. Baird with the basketball now. Gives it to Cherry. Etchison in the corner. Mismatch there on Brown. Patrick Baird loads up a long 3 from the top of the key. Too strong. Guerin's kind of fizzled out on the momentum here. Meanwhile, it still keeps ramping up from Joey Brown.
Brown has been just consistent the entire game. 4 points in the first quarter. He's now up to 18. Second and third quarter really belonged to him.
Chandler splits the defenders, and they're going to get Lewis with a tripping foul. That'll be his first. And so Aiden Cannon getting back into the lineup here, and probably not a moment too soon here, as Guerin really needs some size to try and counteract the athleticism of North Central. Cannon gets the inbound, and he's fouled from behind by Brown. And that's foul number 3 on Brown, and the third foul of the half here for North Central.
Well, Guerin Catholic, they can pick up on that. I mean, that would be huge to give Brown his 4th in this third quarter.
Chandler off the inbound, can't finish in the lane. And that has really been just a tough thing that Guerin has had to deal with here. They just haven't been able to finish on golden opportunities like that. Shot from Woodson doesn't fall, but he'll go to the line for 2 fouls of his own.
Now, the referee towards the North Central bench had a pretty good angle of it, because rising up was Woodson, and Sherry must have just got his hands into his back from behind, because there's a referee right there on top of it. I mean, just a foot away from the action.
And so Cherry picks up foul number 3 on him. So you've got Joey Brown with 3 fouls, Davis Olson with 3 fouls for North Central, and then 3 fouls for Jack Cherry of Guerin. Missed opportunity there by Christian Woodson. Getting things figured out here at the scorer's table. And Woodson's able to knock home the second one. Guerin Catholic trying to avoid a 2-game skid after their loss to Noblesville back on January 29th. Etchison has 1-3 already. Can't quite get that one to rattle home for number 2. Cutting to the rim, Joey Brown gets around Lucas Parker. He now has 20 points.
Boy, Brown was carrying that basketball almost like a football. Looked like Deion Sanders the way he was holding it.
Looked more like a hop, skip, and a jump rather than a Euro step.
That's right.
Getting inside. Back to a 15-point advantage for North Central. Their largest lead of the night is 17. Inside a minute to play. Baird leaves it now for Cannon in the corner. Up top to Etchison. Etchison behind the back, cutting to the rim is Baird. Back to Parker. Hook shot on the way again off the front of the iron. And Etchison and Lewis were both going for the ball there, and they're going to say Etchison was the one who committed the foul. His first.
Great hustle by Lewis, and the offense was looking pretty good there from Guerin Catholic. Everybody touching the basketball. They swung it around a couple of times. Nice backdoor cut. Just short on the hook shot from Parker.
Once again, North Central has a chance at a final shot. They had that at the end of the quarter to end the half, but were not able to get anything from it. Once again, Mason Lewis holding the basketball.
It's been a 19-15 quarter in favor of the Panthers.
Lewis, spin move inside, can't finish again. Etchison nearly stolen from. Other way, 3 on the way from Baird. He hits to end the quarter. A big three-pointer by Patrick Baird to close out quarter number 3 for Guerin Catholic. And it is now back to a 12-point deficit for the Golden Eagles going to quarter number 4. 58-46 is your score going to the fourth quarter. Back in a minute on IndianaSRN.
Becoming a licensed sports official is a great way to make a positive difference in the community and support the over 160,000 Indiana student athletes that participate across 22 IHSAA sports. Sports officiating allows you to stay connected to the game, become a role model for our young student athletes, earn extra money, and support the patrons and communities of our IHSAA member schools. To learn more about becoming a licensed IHSAA official, log on to ihsaa.org/officials today.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
Well, Guerin Catholic's certainly missing the services of Will Grissom right now, as you see him standing there to the right of your screen. He has not been able to return after taking a hard fall in the second quarter, but needless to say, Guerin Catholic has been able to at least keep pace with North Central going to quarter number 4. Alongside Jarrett Lewis, I'm Kurt Darling, 58-46 going to quarter number 4. Jarrett, obviously, Guerin Catholic, they got to find something a little bit more consistent scoring-wise. Otherwise, North Central's just content to keep them at arm's length.
They were able to score. I mean, you said it. They were able to keep pace, but unfortunately that's not going to get the job done when you're trailing by 12 entering the final quarter. You're going to have to get stops. You're going to have to outscore North Central in the most important quarter of the game.
Shot on the way outside from Woodson doesn't go. And here is your opportunity for Guerin Catholic to try and take advantage of some missed shots on the other side.
Yeah, you'd love to get off to a good start. You see them running an offensive set.
Sorensen had 11 points in that third quarter, 3 threes and a deuce. Trying to get him open again. Sorensen cuts it over to Baird. Spin move inside by Cherry. Draws the foul and gets the and one. What a play by the sophomore.
Yeah, Cherry, I mean, he doesn't play like a sophomore. He's going at it tough.
Well, he had some playing time as a freshman last year in the latter half of the season.
A tremendous underclassman that Coach Allen will have for 2 more years after this, but he's already playing like a junior and a senior. The way he controls the basketball, takes care of it, pushes the pace when he needs to. Just been a real good energy starter for the Golden Eagles.
And Cherry hits a big and one free throw. Back to within 10 points here for Guerin Catholic. C.J. Joliffe was the one who committed the foul. That is his first. Lewis tries to get around Cherry, takes it right to the rim. Again, another miss, gets his own rebound, and Brown is able to finish.
Gosh, you got to get that rebound. I mean, you affect the shot from Lewis. You got to be able to not tip it to yourself, go up there and corral it in.
Cherry cutting to the basket, back outside. Baird had a big three to end the third quarter. Cherry gets the rebound outside. Sorensen tries it this time, and he gets it to rattle home. And North Central is back to an 8-point deficit. And a substitution and maybe a timeout here called by Guerin Catholic. It's a full timeout. We take one with them. Back in a minute on IndianaSRN.
Becoming a licensed sports official is a great way to make a positive difference in the community and support the over 160,000 Indiana student athletes that participate across 22 IHSAA sports. Sports officiating allows you to stay connected to the game, become a role model for our young student athletes, earn extra money, and support the patrons and communities of our IHSAA member schools. To learn more about becoming a licensed IHSAA official, log on to ihsaa.org/officials today.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
We take a look at the numbers here with 6:34 left to go in the fourth quarter. Robert Sorensen now has 13 points off of a big trade that he hit before the timeout. And he had 11 of those in the third quarter on the way to Guerin Catholic, only coming up short to North Central in that third quarter by a deficit of 19-18, making it a 58-46 deficit at the end of quarter number 3. Since then, Guerin Catholic has gotten it back to within 8 points, but if you're Guerin Catholic, you just have to keep riding this wave here. Otherwise, you're going to let North Central come away with this one.
Keep the fire extinguisher close, because that's how Sorensen is right now shooting the basketball. You like being, I mean, you're down 8. You don't like that part, but you like it being this close. You can get on a run and get it much closer now that it's underneath double digits.
North Central has only hit one of their last 4 shots, and Guerin has been able to take advantage of that. Here's Lucas Parker for 3, just a little strong, and a big rebound by Olsen. Or rather, David Lloyd gets that rebound.
It's odd to see just 2 points so far this quarter. We've played a little bit over 2 minutes. Defense has picked up here in this fourth quarter from Guerin Catholic.
Woodson now working on Parker. 3 on the way from Lloyd.
Man, you could see it from when it left his hands. I mean, it was on the right mark. You knew it was going in.
That's now 7 made threes for North Central in this contest. Sorensen has to get rid of it. He's tangled up along the baseline, or rather the sideline. Parker, spin move into the lane. Turns around, hits the jumper from the free throw line.
That's tough, but a good answer. You don't want to be trading buckets, however. You got 5 minutes left to go. Need to get a stop here.
7 points for Lucas Parker. Guerin has only gotten it to within 8 points since the first quarter, and there is a big turnover. Olsen gets called for traveling, and you can see Coach Gant is furious with the official for that call.
I think Coach Gant is saying, hey, the same thing's happening on the other end. It's an odd call. We haven't seen many calls like that, like traveling violations against these players. They've been playing good, solid basketball.
But again, this is one of the many opportunities that Guerin Catholic has. You get a stop on defense, now you have to take advantage.
See if they try to get something going for Sorensen.
Baird working it up top between he and Cherry. Parker, Sorensen tries to get an opening, but well defended there by Jackson. And now Cherry's going to draw a foul on Blake Fleming.
Twice they try to run Sorensen off of a double screen. And you could see the defender was trailing. Right now they have Jackson trying to guard Sorensen.
So Fleming picks up his first foul. That's the 5th on North Central this half. The cut to Sorensen, well defended by Joey Brown, but still Sorensen, undersized, tries to slip into the lane, can't finish, and Fleming comes up with the basketball. Outside to Lloyd, and a little bit of a miscommunication on the fast break, and Brown is content to bring it back out. He gets into the lane, kicks it back out, 3 on the way from Olsen, and he hits it again from deep. 4 made three-pointers by Davis Olsen this game. There's Cherry right to the rack. Can't finish, but he draws a foul. Give the foul to Davis Olsen. That is now number 4 on him. But at this point, if you're Coach Gant, you have to leave him in the ballgame.
I got 9 threes for North Central, and Olsen's got 4 of them. Yeah, you have to. I mean, this late in the ballgame.
So Cherry back at the foul stripe. He is 2 of 3, now 3 of 4 in that regard this afternoon. And Guerin Catholic, they have certainly not quit in this ball game. It's just a matter of really getting outpaced down low and not taking advantage of a couple opportunities.
And scoring 66 is no issue for North Central either. They're 6 of their last 7 games that they have won, they have scored 64 points or more. Just putting it on, raining it.
A team averaging 63 points per contest. North Central looking for their 4th win in a row. And a foul coming in transition, going to be against Patrick Baird, his 2nd. So North Central has had a couple of games off here after they had a conference matchup on the road against Warren Central back on January 28th. They then had to travel all the way up to Fort Wayne to take on Southside High School up there. They won that one 70-50. And then they come right back home here next week against Pike High School, February 11th. That'll be their first home game in 6 games. So a tough road stretch here for North Central, as there's going to be a charging foul going to be called on Blake Fleming, his 2nd.
We can't forget about the game that Fleming has had. He was hot in the first quarter. He hasn't scored at all in this half.
Indeed he hasn't. He had 12 points in the first half.
He gave a real nice start scoring-wise for North Central to begin this game. But he's had some teammates step up, and guys like Lloyd and Olsen.
Now you have a full court press again, as Etchison had to run kind of a wide receiver pattern to get that one. Sorensen tries to add another 3 ball. It doesn't finish. It's tipped out of bounds. North Central basketball.
Boy, Sorensen is shooting it so well. Even his misses are about half of a make. I mean, he's pretty much made 4.5 threes.
So Jamier Jackson takes the inbound, and time is starting to tick away for the Golden Eagles. Back outside, Lloyd pulls up from the elbow, and a nifty shot from just inside the arc.
I mean, the confidence to, one, put up that shot. I mean, you're at a stage where you almost don't necessarily have to score. You don't have to put up shots like that, but Lloyd is feeling it.
Cut inside to Cannon, can't quite corral it. Jackson comes away with the steal after it was tipped. Looked like by Olsen there. And now if you're North Central, you try to eat up as much clock as you can to try and put this one away, because Guerin Catholic has certainly shown some fight. Or you can keep scoring down low like that right there to Lloyd, and he draws the end one.
I think miscommunication on that back end. Baird was in that area, and he decided to hedge out on the guy at the three-point line. Well, I don't think he gave off Lloyd to one of his teammates. There's just nobody there backside.
Sorensen picking up foul number 4 there. And this puts Lloyd back at the foul stripe. And he can't convert the and one, but he still has 15 points. Cherry with a head of steam coast to coast, and he can't get that one to fall. Quickly back the other way, alley-oop to David Lloyd.
That'll be the nail in the coffin, the exclamation point.
Back to the largest lead of the day at 16 points. Sorensen tries to go over the head of the defender. Etchison back to Cherry. And Sorensen will get fouled there by Olsen, and that is going to be foul number 5, I believe, on Davis Olsen. Team foul number 8.
Olsen's going to finish with 13, and 12 of those were via the three-pointer.
Let's take a look at this alley-oop again, just in transition. Nice play.
And there's really nothing Etchison can do. I think he kind of sat there in the lane and he knew it was coming.
So Sorensen misses the first foul shot. Or no, he made the first foul shot. And this time he misses the second one. So Sorensen on the night has 14 points. He has a season high of 18, which he scored against South Bend Riley earlier this season. Inside of 2 minutes to play, North Central working on their 14th win of the year.
And they're going to extend their win streak to 4 games now. And all 4 of these games, they have scored at least 68. They scored 73 against Muncie Central, and now they have a chance to eclipse that mark.
And so a timeout on the floor here as the officials try to sort something out. So Robert Sorensen, the culprit on that last foul against Guerin Catholic, that is his 5th, so he is done for the night as well. Both teams having a player foul out here today. So 97 seconds left in this contest. Guerin Catholic likely going to be falling to 10-8 on the year. And they'll stay at home here next week, February 10th, a matchup against the Continentals of Indianapolis, Washington. With Fleming getting his first points of the second half with that free throw. Certainly been odd to see him kind of not keep that flow going that he had in the first half. And he hits both. He has 14.
I think he'll take a 14-point performance, though. I mean, he's got, 2 or 3 other teammates that are in double digits tonight, too.
Long ball from Parker, and he drains it. Timeout called on the floor. It's going to be called by Guerin Catholic. And it appears to be a full timeout. We'll take one with them here on Indiana SRN.
I'm Keith Myers, Vice President of IndianaSRN. Thanks for joining us. Do you know IndianaSRN broadcasts 350 games a year? All sorts of sports? Yeah, we do. Hard to believe, isn't it? IndianaSRN loves to put student athletes first on our website. If you're a business out there, we probably could help you too. Contact us at coach@indianasrn.org. Grandma from out of state thanks you. Mom and Dad who can't get to the game thanks you as well. In fact, our athletes watch the games over and over again. Our military has enjoyed the games as well. So sit back and enjoy the game. It's IndianaSRN.
(74-60), a 14-point advantage for North Central. Looking to close it out here against Guerin Catholic. North Central, number 11 in 4A, number 6 in the IBCA coaches poll. So one of the top teams in the state, regardless of class, and they've certainly shown their moxie that they're here to play and they're here to contend for something deeper later on this postseason.
And the crazy part is, you just mentioned the postseason, just how tough their sectional is, and we've seen most of the teams that are in that sectional number 10, and they are all looking extremely good this year.
Trying to find another alley-oop to Olsen. This time it sails out of bounds and a turnover. Back to Guerin here as Jackson was coming hot in transition.
Yeah, Jackson wanted a flashy assist. He's like, what are you guys doing?
Of course, Olsen probably had it in his mind, hey, we're up big right now. We don't need to be doing anything like this. So Etchison takes the inbound for Guerin Catholic. It's not every day that a team scores 60 points in a game and unfortunately comes up short, especially in high school basketball. Just indicative of how one thing that you need to play well sometimes is defense, as Holba gets a big shot right there. But talking to Coach Bob Allen, one thing that they've really struggled with this season is consistent defense.
And that's kind of how this is a 2-game stretch they're on now. So we see a missed 3 from North Central, where their last game against Noblesville, they put up 57 and lost. They gave up 67 to a pretty decent Noblesville squad. So it's been a tough 2 games now here back-to-back for Guerin Catholic, and the schedule doesn't necessarily get any easier. They have New Pal coming up. You mentioned Washington, and then Roncalli, who's a conference opponent in the Circle City.
Guerin Catholic sitting 2-2 in Circle City Conference play. They're in 4th place. Cherry hits the front end of the 1-1 right there. Right now, Roncalli sits atop the Circle City Conference standings. They've only played 1 game all season long in the conference, have the Royals. They are 1-0, but they sit at 6-9, and that's one of the interesting things about the Circle City Conference. They don't exactly consistently play a actual conference schedule, but whenever they do play each other, they keep track of the record.
Right, we've seen a lot of the Circle City teams. Guerin, Brebeuf, Chittard, Heritage Christian, and a lot of these teams, they've played 4 or 5 conference matchups.
Etchison picks up his second to put Fleming back at the line.
We mentioned how good the MIC is. Everybody knows about the teams and the schools that are in that conference. With the Circle City, I mean, we may be a little biased, but it's also a conference that is super tough this year, and we've gotten a good look at a lot of those teams.
One of those teams being Bishop Chittard, who started the season 13-0, but they have since kind of hit a rough patch. They have lost 3 in a row, have the Trojans. 16 points now for Blake Fleming. Inside of 30 seconds left in this one. Guerin Catholic just going to try and save a little face here. Can't convert there, does Parker. And now if you're North Central, you're content to get it across the timeline and let the clock run out. So North Central will move to 14-4 on the year and get their 4th win in a row since their loss to North Central. Time expires. Final score 76-64. We'll take a timeout. Don't go anywhere. The Family Source Insurance postgame show coming up next on IndianaSRN.
They say nice guys don't finish first. So maybe it's time to reconsider
what it means to be first.
It's about being your best, but knowing you could be even better.
It's being present, but respectful of history.
Sure you want to make that move?
It's donating something more valuable than money.
It's believing in yourself and something bigger.
It's coming from different families, but treating each other like brothers.
It's not just being a man, it's being a Mason.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
Welcome into the Family Source post-game show here on IndianaSRN alongside Jarrett Lewis. I'm Kurt Darling. Before we go any further, you're going to want to make sure that you stay tuned for other games happening here on the IndianaSRN family of networks. A big load of them coming up on Tuesday night. Traders Point and Bethesda Christian going to be tipping off at 7:30 Eastern. All of these going to be at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Also, Covenant Christian, they're going to be playing host to the Giants of Ben Davis. You will also have Central Christian and Anderson Prep going at it each other coming up here on Tuesday. Then also Heritage Christian taking on Lapel. And then we round out the coverage with Chittard taking on Roncalli. So certainly some excellent matchups coming up here on IndianaSRN. Also, you have some really good matchups here today. Obviously, you had the good play of North Central getting the job done over Guerin Catholic 76-64. Before we go any further, we will go ahead and take another quick timeout. When we come back, we will go over the final stats, name a player of the game, and talk about how this game unfolded. Don't go anywhere. The Family Source post-game show here on IndianaSRN. Each team scored 18 points.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Back here at the nest here in Guerin Catholic, once again, final score, North Central getting the job done over the Golden Eagles, 76-64. Let's take a look at the final stat sheet here during the Family Source postgame show. Taking a look at North Central, they were led by Joey Brown. An excellent night here tonight by the 6'6 guard. 22 points for him this evening. Also, David Lloyd off of 3 3-pointers and some change as well. He finishes the night with 17 points. 16 points for Blake Fleming, most of those coming in the first quarter. He had a couple of free throws, 4 free throws to be exact, in the second half. 16 points for him this evening, and then 13 points for Davis Olson in spite of fouling out, and then 4 points for Christian Woodson, 2 points for C.J. Joliffe off the bench, as well as Mason Lewis. Then you have Guerin Catholic. They were without the services in the second half because of Will Grissom. He had an injury in the first half, but he finishes the night with 8 points. The Golden Eagles were led in scoring by Robert Sorensen. Just a few points shy of his season high of 18. He has 14 points tonight, 3 3-pointers in the second half. 13 points for Jack Cherry out of the starting lineup, and also 10 points for Lucas Parker. 4 points for Josh Holba, 4 as well for Patrick Baird. 5 points for Aiden Cannon off of the bench, 2 points for Camilla Chandler, and that rounds out your scoring for Guerin Catholic, bringing you to a final score of 76-64. Will Jarrett Lewis, obviously a tough loss here for Guerin Catholic, but needless to say, it was a good effort in the end. They were outscored in the first quarter by 5, second quarter by 4, then the third quarter by 1, and then it was dead even 18 apiece in the fourth quarter, but you need a little bit more real estate if you're going to have that trend come out in your favor.
Yeah, when you look at it that way, when you break it down quarter by quarter, you would have thought it was a much closer game, and it was. The third quarter got to be pretty close. The way Sorensen was shooting the basketball, we thought, okay, we get to the fourth quarter, things could get a lot more interesting, but North Central did not waver at all. Brown continued to shoot the ball well. A lot of his points in the first half, he kind of had his way working in the paint. And then the second half, he added just a little bit more, kind of shooting it outside, extending his offense out that way. And I think one of the reasons why he could be the player of the game, we'll find that out in just a little bit. But, yeah, tremendous play from Brown. And then you had 3 more players in double figures. I mean, that's a real tough recipe to try and handle if you're Guerin Catholic, a team that's usually good defensively, and you give up 76 tonight. It's probably not going to get you into the win column.
For Robert Sorensen, certainly he's the player of the game for Guerin Catholic. Obviously our player of the game tonight, though, for Joey Brown. 22 points tonight for North Central, obviously bringing North Central now to 14-4 on the year. They are certainly looking to contend in a tough sectional number 10 here in just a little bit here in a few weeks' time. And now 4 games left in the regular season.
Yeah, there's only one team that isn't above 500 in that sectional. I mean, there's going to be a lot of eyes in the state of Indiana over there in sectional number 10. You have teams like Cathedral, Lawrence North. Tech is really good this year. If you got a glimpse of that city tournament, you know there's a lot of teams that are now going to be moving into sectional 10 here in about a month that are going to be pretty good, and we could see them playing a lot later into the season, possibly at Gamebridge Fieldhouse.
Jarrett Lewis, it's been a pleasure working with you again once again, my friend.
It sure is. We got a doozy. We got a really good one. We've seen Guerin Catholic a lot this year. This is my first time seeing North Central, actually. You've seen them already once this year, but a really solid team, fun to watch. They move the basketball around well. They gave us a really good treat this afternoon.
Indeed they did. Also helping with that good treat is our excellent team of broadcasters here at IndianaSRN. For all of us here at IndianaSRN, for David Clark and Ken Thomason on the camera, for Greg Smith, our on-site engineer, for Jarrett Lewis, I'm Kurt Darling saying so long till next time. Final score once again 76-64. North Central gets the job done over at Guerin Catholic. You've been watching High School Boys Hoops here on IndianaSRN. So long, everybody.